It is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. Our journeys are never quite perfect, but as we grow and learn and become more aware of the areas that we are not depending on God, the areas that we could make changes in vast ways that might look really small, but actually add up to something great and something big in our lives. That's the kind of thing that I love to do. And I have a specific heart for mothers. I have a young son, and so moms are just incredible women, incredible people who need support. And I don't know that we always are able to ask for that as mothers. So I love working with young moms specifically who find themselves really stuck in their own health and wellness journey, not knowing how to take care of themselves. And when I say the word wellness, what I'm talking about is learning to function well. And that's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, socially, and occupationally, all areas of health and wellness. And so that is kind of my target zone. And that's the kind of person I love working with, is the person who kind of is ready to make those changes towards that.
My name is Jennifer Rickmers. I do have a niche, and I really enjoy working with neurodiverse clients. And one of the reasons for that is because for many of us, like the idea that we're fine the way we are is a novel concept. And maybe we've heard it, but maybe we don't believe it because it's not a lived experience. So it's honoring this idea that we are all created as equal and we are all created in the Lord's image, and that there is nothing wrong with the way we work and the way we process things. And I think through coaching, we have the opportunity to just come as we are and present ourselves authentically without judgment, and in a way that includes growth. And that includes spiritual growth, but also physical wellness, also emotional connection, all these areas of resiliency. And I really believe that if you're going to ask someone to look up and put their eyes on something greater than themselves, you have to give them a firm foundation to stand on. You have to give them that social and secure footing for them to feel safe enough to start reaching out and having those aspirational goals and having a deep and meaningful relationship outside of the day-to-day survival. So for me, being that lighthouse to those individuals is so incredibly rewarding, and I'm really privileged to be able to serve that group.
I am Coach Katie Hindall. I help leaders and entrepreneurs and high achievers work on getting to their goals faster. I use a methodology of DISC assessments. We all have strengths, we all have weaknesses, we all have communication preferences. And when we can read about ourselves in a 24 page report that tells us what our underlying motivation is, it tells us what those strengths are, what those weaknesses are, we stop guessing at how come we're not getting the actions done, or how come we're not moving forward in those goals that we want to achieve. And then I help partner with my clients that we really look at where are the weaknesses, and then how do we use the strengths to work around them. So that's what I work with. And my ideal client is people that just really want, they've got a goal, they've got an aspiration, but life is midlife, the 40s, the 50s, all these other responsibilities are getting in the way, and they're stuck, and they really don't know the how. And the how is right inside you. And I help draw that out through behavior science and behavioral coaching. We've got our little kid holding his map, and he's really looking at his areas of life. How do I think smart? How do I have good habits? So my think smart, find your strong, we're renewing our brain. We're looking at things from an experimenting mindset. We're looking at good habits. How are we taking the small steps? How are we keep trying? How are we continue to getting better? Instead of comparing ourselves to everybody else, Jennifer said it really great, just showing up authentically. We're not here to compete against everybody else in the world of resilience. How are we growing to our best self? And as we kind of wrap around with that faith piece, how are we able to have the bumps and bruises? God says we have to go through certain situations so that we can get the crown of life, or getting a reference point of what we don't want. So now it's helping us create some clarity of what we do want. So just when we fall down, getting back up and smiling.
It's, when life knocks you down, you just keep getting back up.
God gave us such a beautiful, amazing brain. But oftentimes when we get stuck in the tough times, the hard things, the things that aren't working, the things that feel like they're not going to end, all the tragedy in the world, we start to focus on all these things that A, we have no control over, and B, it's shutting down our brain and our ability to problem solve and troubleshoot and find different solutions where we may only see one crappy thing. There's 100 other solutions. So when we think about resilience, I'm going to put this back to all you. What are your tools? What is your go-to tool?
Prayer. Just let go and let God. And like I said, sometimes you get so caught up in it. And it's like, wait, don't let go, let God. Jesus, take the wheel, I'll carry underwood. Just trying to remind myself, God's got this.
Think about perspective a lot, and in talking about resilience, how we grow that muscle, right? That muscle that says, I'm going to keep getting up, I'm going to keep going. That's a growth process. Melody mentioned that earlier. And I so agree that it's not something necessarily you're just born really resilient. I mean, it probably varies person to person, but it is a growth process. And so when I think about how do I grow resilience, in my own experience, I've found gaining new perspective has really helped me. And so how I look at that is like, if I was to zoom out of this moment I'm in and I was to kind of take a different take on it, what could I see? Instead of seeing my problem, I might see something amazing. I might see something God is doing that is behind the scenes, not in front of me yet. I might see someone else around me who is actually really hurting, going through something themselves. Maybe I could share that with them. Maybe we could share together some of the burden we carry. And so I think the perspective of, let me just zoom out for a minute, has really helped me in my day-to-day moments, some large or small, whatever it may be that I feel is difficult. That perspective of, let me just take a step back and take a bigger look at this, has really served me well in gaining better perspective and becoming more resilient.
For me, I'm going through a lot of personal issues at home and developmental things that sort of have to happen at this stage in my life. And, I was talking with someone and she just said, well, you make the best possible choice out of all the answers before you. You just select the best one. I'm like, it's not even that good. It's like I have to choose the least wrong approach. It's like, what is the lesser of two evils? And sometimes that decision can really weigh you down. And when you're faced with that stress day after day, it doesn't really feel like there's anything to lift you up. Well, how can you honor that in your own life? And I just thought, right, how can I just accept? Without being passive and just throwing my hands in the air, how can I accept that hard things are happening right now? And it's to say, well, these are the cards that I was dealt. Who am I to rail against the world and say, no, God, I know what your plans are for me. I want a different hand. That's not the way it works. And I think the way that I am being moved right now is through that acceptance, not throwing my hands up and saying, I don't want anything to do with this, but playing the cards that I have been dealt in faith, knowing that I have been given those hands for a reason. And it's challenging, it doesn't get easier, but you are able to take it one day at a time. And I think there's a lot to resilience in that capacity as well.
If I can say, Katie, you have really inspired me. I love how you represent that stepping out in faith. You step out knowing God's going to direct you one way or the other. So let's take this step. And if this is where he wants me to go, we're going to continue, or I'm going to, take another step. But I love your resilience and knowing that whichever way you go, it's God's gonna lead us or bring us back.
It's that experimenting mindset.
Again, tools. I have to go back and start with my psychological training. So I use sort of evidence-based methods like cognitive reframing, stress management, emotional regulation. And this helps individuals shift perspective and cope effectively. It makes a difference. From a social work skills, I connect people with resources. Sometimes they need support systems and practical solutions so they can, in a way, not feel alone in their struggles, which is major. Then the coaching aspect, goal settings, accountability, and strength-based approaches that keeps the client moving forward. Sometimes we need a map. We need something to sort of go by, spiritual integration, because they need it. And I bring not only faith, but prayer and sort of cultural wisdom as a Christian, the tradition, to strengthen hope and meaning. I also use storytelling and reflection, because when you journal, when you use some form of narrative therapy or self-reflection exercises, that helps the client understand their journey and sort of be able to rewrite their story. And last but not least, which I think it makes a difference when you are authentic. So I use my own resilience, my journey as a tool, because it allows them and me to connect authentically. In other words, allowing that growth after hardship is possible. And what better way than to use your own issues and your own problems and your own struggles. So a combination of different tools, and sometimes I use one more than the others, but in the end, it seems to work for me. And I still need, the more I know, the more I realize I know nothing. So I know that there's still other tools that I can eventually learn, and hopefully with the help of you guys, I will do so.
Today, we're going to do another one of these in 2 weeks, and I'm going to grab the agenda and share it real quick. Week number 2, we're going to talk about energy, stewardship, and our body as a temple. And we're really going to look at what are the habits that would honor God by protecting our energy. So we're going to look at energy as a tool. Dr. Eric talked about emotional resilience and labeling our emotions as we kind of think about tools to help move forward this resilience process. And we all kind of agree that it's a learned skill and anybody can learn it. And that's the cool part. Just creating the awareness, the education that it can be learned. I'm going to close us in prayer, and then we will connect again in 2 more weeks to have our next session on resilience. Dear Lord, thank you so much for bringing this team together as we are honoring you and who you created us to be. We know that we're here to help others build that resilience muscle and build the life and environment that pleases you, God, as we are continuing one day at a time, no matter what that difficult season we're in, or if we're in a wilderness season or just a season that we're not happy with. It's okay to be in that season, because the Bible gives us a lot of comfort and knowledge that these seasons are meant for us for a purpose way bigger than ourselves. So we just ask that as we walk this journey, we continue to keep you focused as our center, Jesus. And we just love you so much. In your name, amen.